Boom covers halftime live conference championship Saturday. Game number 2, San Francisco, Los Angeles, with the 49ers holding a slim 10-7 lead off of a last-second field goal off the foot of Robbie Gould. Interesting first half so far. The scoreboard would lead you to believe it's a low-scoring, tight, competitive 10-7 game, but not only the in-play markets may be suggesting it's a little bit different, but I think the box score is suggesting that it's a little bit different as well. And we'll get to the numbers in just a second, but wanted to point out something I find interesting about the Rams specifically in this first half. And so I think just watching it, there's this feeling that they're the team that's doing more. They're more efficient on offense, more effective overall. And you look at the box score here at halftime, and it's 200 yards of total offense, 4.7 yards per play, which makes you kind of look a little bit deeper, at least me from a betting perspective, it does. And so I dive in and I start looking, and the thing that pops out is 7 of 10 on third down, which 70%, enormous rate for third down conversions, but 10 third downs is a very high number for the first half of the game. And so I go back and I'm looking through the play-by-play before we come on, and I'm trying to figure out what's going on because I'm watching the game and it doesn't, for me, match up with the scoreboard, how it's playing out, and sort of what I'm feeling. There's something off. And sure enough, as you're looking, 106 of the specifically 199 yards of total offense for the Rams, 54% of their offensive output in the first half has come on third down. The 7 points that they scored came on third down. And so it's this Rams team that we've seen. They've run 42 plays. A couple of those were punts within there, but 28 first and second downs go for a total of 93 yards. And then you get these 10 third downs, which produce more than 50% of the total offensive output. A very good offensive output from a numbers perspective for the Rams overall in the first half. So for me, watching it, there's all of these kind of big plays that keep happening. And I mean, on a lot of them, the Niners very close to either forcing the punt, getting it back, going the other way. It's just a really weird first half from the Rams perspective. And while all this is going on, LA ends up having their 18-play, 10-minute drive. The Niners are sort of sitting on the sideline, not doing anything. And the first time we saw the Niners, there's the missed touchdown throw to George Kittle that he very well likely could have taken to the end zone on that first possession. And then it was kind of the quick 3 and out, but then we see them finally get the ball back, and they very easily walk it down the field. They score a touchdown on a 5-play drive. And then we see them just now before the half, even without Deebo Samuel on the field, walk the football down and find themselves in field goal range. They kick, and now they have a 3-point lead at the break. And so you start to look at this box score, and it's 7.8 yards per play for San Francisco to just 4.7 for the Rams. It's 11.4 yards per pass for the Niners to just 5.0 for the Rams. And it's an interesting kind of divide that I'm seeing here, watching what's going on versus what we're seeing on the scoreboard, as well as what we're kind of seeing within the box score. And when you dive a little bit deeper, although the Rams have been the team we've been watching on offense for the majority of the first half, I don't know if the game necessarily reflects that. And it's actually been a lot of high leverage, wouldn't call it luck, but just good fortune and good execution on part of the Rams that have them in this game. And still, despite all of this, they're trailing by a field goal at half, and the 49ers start with the football out of the break. So that's kind of how I'm looking at this, and it's a bit weird to sort of discern. But let's look at the numbers and see what we're dealing with as we dive into the second half spreads before we go and we get to the bet. We are pushing for 7,000 subscribers by the time we get to Super Bowl. The big push has been on the YouTube channel since the start of the playoffs. So if you like the information, you're enjoying the show, you're enjoying the content on a daily basis, please just down below hit subscribe. And let's see what we can get at the numbers here for the second half and potentially find the bet to make up for what was a very bad halftime show on the first game between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Cincinnati Bengals, a complete whiff. Second half total here, 23.5 shaded to the under. Second half spread, the Niners getting the half point minus 118. Team totals LA 12.5, heavily shaded to the over. San Francisco 10.5, shaded to the under. Let's see what so the half point for San Francisco is putting them at minus 118. Let's go down a little bit further. We'll pull up the alternates. I'm sort of driving here as producer Brady's on the screen. Let's get we might have to go to the live games if they don't have it, but let's see what we get for a potential alternate spread here for San Francisco. Like if we went San Francisco minus 6.5 for the game, what would that get us? Plus 220. I will go ahead. Let me see. I've got my book on the side that I'm looking at. Let's go with the live game alternate. We'll press it a little bit. Let's go San Francisco 49ers minus 6.5 for the game. That's the live line plus 220. We'll take them to win by a touchdown or more. We got pretty fortunate with some alternates last week, a couple 3-to-1s that we were able to hit. But for me, look, the Rams could very well come out and we see them move the football down the field and continue to have success on third down. But the Niners in coverage, they've looked a little bit different than what we've seen them do over the course of the season. They started to play a little bit more man coverage, which we know Stafford does much better against than zone. But towards the end of the first half, we saw the Niners pass rush kind of pick it up. We saw them get a little bit creative in coverage. The Rams could certainly continue to push the ball downfield and continue to find luck on these third downs in these high leverage situations. But if the Niners end up kind of going back to what we've seen them defensively, a little bit more zone coverage, I don't think we're going to see Stafford continue to have that much success on third down throughout the entirety of the second half. Now, again, could happen. I'm not ruling that out. This is by no means any sort of guarantee. But for me, like I'm looking at what's happening. Again, the Rams have controlled the ball. They've had all the opportunity. We're not seeing a very effective offense on first and second down. And a lot's coming on that third down. And on the other hand, I think the Niners, for me, I'm watching those safeties for LA. We know they're backups. I think this is a half where the 49ers can have a lot of success throwing the football. I know we're going to sort of point at Jimmy G, and we love to make fun of him anytime he misses a throw. But there was, again, the missed TD by Kittle. Ayuk went out of bounds. There's potential downfield for the Niners to continue to exploit this Rams secondary, especially down the middle of the field where we know Jimmy loves to put the football. And again, 7.8 yards per play in the first half. I think that's kind of quietly gone a little bit under the radar when you're watching this game and sort of how it's played out. So we'll press it a little bit here. Niners minus 6.5, the live number for the game. Take them to win by a touchdown or more, and that'll be at plus 220 for the payout on that. Again, if you liked the content, like what you're seeing at halftime, you like what you're seeing elsewhere, please give us a subscribe. Help us get to 7,000 by the end of the Super Bowl. A lot of great Super Bowl content coming up in the next week or two. Get a lot of guests on. We'll talk props. We'll talk everything that lines up for the Super Bowl to get you ready. And what starts immediately after this game ends, I'll come live with Jason Logan. We'll react to the openers, see if we can find any bets. And I'll tell you what, if you watch Covers Daily, Niners hold on here. This bet maybe wins. We get the cover on the alternate spread, and the Niners end up playing the Bengals. For me, there's going to be a fairly large wager when it comes to the Super Bowl that I'm hoping that we get the number that we saw on the look ahead before that went off the board. So I'm hoping that this matchup certainly materializes because there'll be a lot to talk about as we get through this game in the post-game show and then tomorrow morning on Covers Daily. Appreciate everybody getting us over 6,300. Pushing it a little bit here with the alternate, but I think this is a San Francisco 49ers game. I'll take the alternate at minus 6.5 plus 220. Enjoy the second half, everyone. We'll see you back here for the post game and the Super Bowl openers reactions immediately as the clock hits 0 in the fourth quarter.